Don't you find it funny how nobody's keeping the same energy with Sha'Carri Richardson in regards to her DV case as they would if it was the other way around and a man was beating her down in a public place? If her man, who's an athlete himself, was arrested for beating on her, we would have heard it not from even the news. We would have heard companies, every company that endorses that man, every company that's ever done business with that man would have made a statement. We no longer support this individual. We're no longer doing business with this individual. That man would have lost everything he worked for. Meanwhile, Sha'Carri Richardson, literally the most popular female athlete right now, literally the cream of the crop, the top of the top, can beat a man in public and her career doesn't even get a scratch. If anything, as a matter of fact, forget a scratch. The same people that would have been emailing those companies, hey, listen, why are you supporting this woman beater? Do you support women beaters? Those same people that would have forced those companies to come out and make a statement and denounce this are the same group of people that are making light of the situation, justifying the situation, claiming that that man cheated, so he deserved it. Those are the same people. Let me tell you something, fellas, and I'm going to be very, very clear about this. If a woman gets on your screen right now with a black eye, crying, with a sad story, whether or not you say, what did you do to get that black eye? Or whether or not you say, oh man, we need to protect all women, all men suck, you will always be the villain. So you might as well be comfortable and stay true to yourself. Gone are the days of people trying to be PC. Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened, because it's not about equality. It's not about not putting your hands on each other. That's what they told you. It's really about men not putting hands on women. It's not for the other way around. Nobody should put their hands on anybody, but they told us that so we wouldn't touch them. But they can hit us, do whatever to us, and have no consequences at all. Example, and I'm gonna tell you, this is where the game changed for me. This is where the game changed for me. Cardi B. Cardi B came on these internet streets, told the world how she used to R-word men, drug them up, steal their money. And this woman was still invited to a Democratic National Convention to speak at a political gathering. She's still at the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Meanwhile, if a man would have ever uttered a quarter of what she said, he would still be fighting for his career to this day. So the playing field isn't even. It's not about equality. It's about suppressing your emotions, suppressing how you feel, and making sure that they can that they can harm and hurt you without any consequences. And that game doesn't necessarily need to be played if you don't want to play it. If you now, let me tell you how I don't play the game. Unless if it's a Diddy Cassie video, if I don't see a video of you getting beat down by this dude uncontrollably, and it gotta be that bad for me not to say what happened before that. It got to be like to that extreme, because there's really no reason. Like if she's down, like, you know what I mean? She's not attacking you or whatever. Unless actually, what if she did something to your moms or like actually did something to the kids? Actually, hold on. Now I'm jumping back and forth. If I gotta, that reminds me, DDG and Halle Bailey, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But if it's not like that, give me the full story from the other side first before I start to feel sorry. I got enough things to worry about. I got enough things on my plate. I don't feel like being emotionally invested until I get the full story. I remember DDG and his baby mom, Halle Bailey or whatever. I think this woman came out and said he popped up at her house unannounced and yelled at her or something like that. And he turned around and said, well, she threatened to unalive herself with the baby. And she, like, I think she actually physically hit him, gave him like a blood, she drew blood from him somewhere. I forgot that story, but it was definitely 50 times worse on her part. Like her arguments for maintaining custody of her son was nothing compared to his arguments to maintain custody of his son. And the court still let that woman take their kid, go overseas just because she had a movie to film overseas. Bro, once I seen that, the system is rigged against us. Straight up and down, the system isn't built for us. Because anybody with common sense would look at that situation and be like, DDG is definitely the more suitable parent. Any parent that threatens to take the life of themselves and their kids needs to be put in a hospital. But yet she gets full custody of her kids. Once you see things like that, bruh, stop all that PC, whatever, man. Like, stop all that, protect all women. Forget that. Protect the women that deserve to be protected. These women that they put in front of you don't deserve to be protected. Cardi B, Sha'Carri Richardson, Ari Fletcher, and the women like that fit those archetypes. Whenever you see them get on screen talk about he put his hands on me, figure out the full story first, because 9 times out of 10 they be battling, and it's just this time she wanted to bring it to the internet. The same, actually, Ari Fletcher, same woman, she got G Herbo locked up. There's a video of her yelling at G Herbo, her ex-boyfriend. For those who don't know, G Herbo was her ex-boyfriend, Ari Fletcher. She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you put in jail. You put your hands on me, you're going to jail." And he actually did go to jail. She stole his jewelry, and then because he was mad enough to put hands on her for doing that, he goes to jail. That same woman years later gets on a podcast and says, if a man isn't putting his hands on me, if a man isn't whipping out his gun trying to correct my wrong, then he don't really love me. Really? And that made me think, you know what? I can love my kids and still discipline them. I can love my kids and still discipline them. So I'm not even like, some of this stuff is wrong. But it makes it so much worse when the playing field isn't even, because then we're looking at the public like, oh nah, like we're just like the scum of the earth, man. Like all men are just supposed to be the scum of the earth just because we're bigger and stronger. You know what I mean? Then it just makes you think, like, if you know he's big and strong and you know he's tapped in the head, like, why would you even provoke that man like that? You know what I mean? Like, I could see, like, Sha'Carri Richardson poking at this man, just poking the bear, doing whatever, and then ends up beating him down. You know what I mean? But if he would have swung one time, it would have been a sad story. Oh, my gosh. Why would you do that? Lock him up. Protect all women. That's what it would have been like. But what about us? Nobody's here to protect us. So bump that, bro. Stop all that. We need the full story. And all of these companies, bro, like, I wish if Marvel, like, you know, whatever, like, you know, Marvel and Jonathan Majors, if I like their movies, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm never watching a Marvel movie. But Lord knows the first chance I get to not support a company for jumping out the window before we get all the facts, I'm doing it. Forget that. It's like we over here pussyfooting around, tiptoeing around, act like it's still like, you know, it's funny. I grew up with that mindset. Like no man should ever have a reason to put his hands on a woman. I grew up with that mindset. Like not even the other way around. Like I was one of those. I was like, no man should ever put his hands on a woman, and I wouldn't say the same thing about vice versa. But it's like, you know, as you get older and you start to see the bullying that happens, and you start to see that some dudes need to defend themselves, you know what I mean? Some dudes, and you shouldn't even be in that position anyway, fellas, because a lot of these women, they put themselves out there and they let you know the type of person they are. So sometimes I be looking down on y'all too for even being with a Sha'Carri Richardson or Ari Fletcher, because it's not like it's hard to tell that these are the type of chicks that are unhinged, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Sometimes I used to be like that, like, oh nah, no man should ever do that, like that's wrong, and it is wrong, but it's wrong for both sides. When the other one takes it lightly, it's like, oh okay, I want to take it lightly too. You know what I mean? I want to take. That's why I made these videos. Like whenever they be popping out 10 years ago, especially, bruh. Now I'd be like, yo, if this shit happened like 10, 15 years ago, bruh, you over here talking about it, man. Like I just be like another one. You know what I mean? Straight up and down, man. And yeah, those used to be my inside thoughts. Those used to be my inside thoughts, but not anymore, man. Not anymore. Like keep your hands to yourselves. Everybody, let that be across the board, across the playing field. Never touch anybody, for both men and women. And if the game is rigged, if the game is different, let us know, because Lord knows, like I'm done being like, oh, men are scum, protect all women. Nah, some of these chicks, all they know is getting hit upside their head, straight up and down. And actually, I did the story about that ghetto chick, the one that says she like hood dudes. What do you think hood dudes are doing? Gangster dudes are doing? They beating the crap out of y'all. It's only okay when y'all are still with the dude. But as soon as you ready to leave, then you taking the whole fan base with you. Nah, bump that. Bump that. You know what I mean? Anyways, I know a lot of things. Let's get it rocking in the comment section, man. I'm out of here. Breathe easy, man.